Welcome all to Hit or Miss. I am your host, Night Strike, and I do not see a Smeggy around. We may get a rogue Smeggy, we may not, but the show must go on. So, my motley crew of panelists tonight include our very good friend, Gizzard Gary. What's going on, Gary?
Man, I'm just living the dream on Hit or Miss Tuesday nights at 9, 8 o'clock Central. Actually, it's 8:35, but thanks for the invite.
Okay, that's enough out of you.
Yeah.
Then we have Sarge, C4 Defense. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. I appreciate the invite. I am coming to you from my newly formatted hard drive. I hope you can tell the differences. I'm sure it's just readily apparent.
It's huge.
Night Strike helped me out with this week.
I was going to ask about it, but now you have a huge hard drive. Remember, with huge hard drive comes great responsibility.
Yep. So, I mean, the sky's the limit for this guy.
Mine's a brand new hard drive.
There you go.
Last but not least, we've got Mr. P11.
Hey, dude, I appreciate the invite. Thank you very much. Quick announcement, guys. I'll be doing a drawing for 10,000 subscribers on Saturday on Caliber Corner at 8 a.m. Central Time. And we're going to be giving away a Burris Fastfire 2 Red Dot Reflex sight, courtesy SS Pawn. And then all you got to do to enter that drawing is go check my channel. I've got a 10,000 subscriber video. Comment on that video, and you're going to be entered for the drawing on Saturday morning. 8 a.m. Central Time.
Night Strike at gmail.com, Travis. Don't worry
if you
about
commented over there, you'll be in the entries. We'll do the drawing live. We'll use a little automatic drawing picker website or whatever. And
I've already entered, so there's no use in any y'all going over there and entering. I already
don't worry about it. We got to handle
exactly.
No,
we might have a few extra giveaways too. So, yeah,
we got you covered. So don't nobody else enter. Me and Gary have got it. We got
I'll go in on all 8 of my accounts and enter if I have to.
Well, hey, if you enter, if you have a single account, and you put multiple comments, it only lets you do one. But
no, but I got different alts I can.
Oh, really? Really, got a couple aliases there, huh?
Couple.
Yeah.
There's Gizzard Gary. There's Chicken Little 441. There's.
We don't talk about Chicken Little 441.
Chicken Little 441. Cool, man.
Colonel Sanders. Yeah.
So what are we talking about today, guys?
Guns.
What are we talking about? Guns. Yes. So
I like guns.
I mentioned before that I wasn't going to buy any new guns this year, and then Ellis surprised me with that funding thing he did, and I got a P320 out of the deal. And then my birthday came around, and I got money for my birthday. And I'm going to scare you guys and turn the camera on. So,
Oh my God, who's that?
so
It's just Night Strike.
I was at Walmart, and I had talked on my Patreon show about going and getting a cheap 22 long rifle. And apparently Walmart had one of these, Savage 64F. And they had one in hunter camo, and it was $156. Asked them if they had one in black, and they did. And I got this for $99 at Walmart.com. At Walmart. At my local Walmart. So I bought a 22 rifle. And yeah. So I got that. I got something else today too, unfortunately. I went to PSA to get some mags. They were all out of the D&H mags that they got for sale on the website. And I told myself I wasn't going to buy any more guns. I was just going to get magazines and get some parts. They didn't have any magazines. And I ended up with a PSA receiver instead.
That's not a bad thing. It's a good problem to have.
So I got a I got a PSA receiver at PSA, $39 in the store. in the store, $39, just like on the website. Didn't have to pay a shipping fee or an FFL transfer. So that was a deal right there. So with that, that ends the portion of the show and tell. So technically, I bought 2 firearms in the span of a week.
Good for you. Good
So
for you.
I am officially dirt poor now.
Now, do you have
All right.
ammo for that gun? Do you have ammo for that rifle?
What, 22?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I got like 5,000 rounds.
Good, good, good. Now, does that just iron sights, or does it have mounts for a rail or anything, or not?
It's got iron sights, but the iron sights on it are pretty good. So quite honestly, I can live with the iron sights as they are.
Is it tapped for a rail?
It's got some kind of contraption where you can mount a third-party rail onto it.
Okay, because the only thing I'm going to say about that is I've got the Mark II F, and it uses a really weird. There's a certain number of a weaver mount you have to get for it, and it's really hard to find the front and the back because they're not the same size. So I had a heck of a time trying to find them for mine to get the mount for it. I'll have to go back and look them up and see what they are, but it is kind of a pain to get it. Iron sights will be fine, though.
Iron
Yeah,
sights
it'll
are
be
actually
good.
pretty good on it, but
Oh, yeah, you'll be fine.
yeah.
Cool, man.
So I bought another rifle. I wasn't in the market for one, but apparently I ended up getting one. So you do what you got to do.
Right on.
Anyways, who do we got out there on? Who we got out there on the gun channel side? We got G-Webs out there as always. G, you have a link if you want to jump in and talk. We got Dead Horse commenting up a storm. We got Patrick out there as well.
Did you even post the show?
Hurry up before G catches you, man. That's it. If he gets you,
I'm looking at
that's
the
it.
main page and I don't see it.
Oh,
But don't see what? Hit or miss?
You try it. Not posted on the main page.
Oh my god, I forgot to post on the main page. I'll do it. Jesus.
G will have you for lunch, man.
I'm not gonna have anybody for lunch. Remember, he's half vegan.
Which half?
I don't know. I can't tell. All right, there it is. Anyways, all right. Who do we have on the YouTube side? Let me pull up that page. Good Lord, where are so many pages? All right, who we got out there? We have. All right. Oh my God! Wow, too many people. We got. From what I can see, we got Yoder, Texas, Scott P79,
Roll calls
Yeah.
here.
Stealth Hunter. We got AC97. We got Foos and Midnight Range TM. Who else we have? We got Link out there. Trauma Jock. Rob D. Who else we have? We got Ben Farrell is out there. Travis Crackle P Jr. is out there.
really? He's supposed to be home in bed by now. It's 9:43 on the East
No.
Coast.
No.
Ben. Tell you what, man.
We got Zippy out there. What's going on, Zippy? Who else we have out there? I think we have General Relativity out there. I saw Einstein. Roll call is out there. Apparently, he's still on work. He will jump in as soon as he can. Foos is out there. Yes, Foos. Obnoxious One. Check your email. You've got a link, bro. And yes, I'm going to call you bro just that one time. So there you go.
Bro Cephas.
I use that all the time. It's all right, dude.
We got Gun Loving Grandpa Stanley out there. We got George Cortez out there. All right. We got everybody. So, all right, I'm going to turn the camera off, and you guys can look at the wonderful hit or miss logo I came up with. So there we go. All right, so we got a couple topics tonight, and if some of you out there are commenting, you may have gotten links. So check your email addresses. Like you, Obnoxious One. Like you, Roll call 219. So there are a couple others as well. I sent out I added like 23 people to the list this time. So ridiculous. We'll see who actually jumps in. So which topic do you want to cover first, guys? Do you want to talk about California?
Yeah, let's get that out of the way.
Yeah, why don't we talk about California?
Start with California. Let's go from the. Well, I guess there is no good news, but okay.
We're going to go from some depressing news in California, and I don't make this shit up. California they lead the way in smart legislation. When I say that, I mean the opposite. Some of their legislation is so dumb, you'd think an autistic child came up with it. Wow, that sounded bad. I'm sorry. I apologize to all our autistic children out there. We know you're not all from California, but California is just screwing up that badly. Okay. Now we got that out of the way. Here it is. California lawmakers bumped gun age to 21. They ban gun shows, and they're enacting long arm rationing.
Oh my God!
I can't make this shit up.
What is long arm rationing? How does that? Is it limit of so many? Like one per month or something?
I don't know. We're getting into it. A series of 4 anti-gun bills were approved late this week and are heading to Governor Jerry Brown for signature. The measures Assembly Bill 2888 and Senate Bill 221, 1100, and 1177 passed the state legislature and now head to the state's Democratic governor for further consideration. 2888 would expand who can file for one of California's gun violence restraining orders, adding coworkers, employers, and school employees to the list that currently includes family members and police. Such orders, largely pioneered by the state, have been derided as turn-in-your-neighbor laws, as they allow for temporary gun seizures with the accused only able to appear in court after the fact in many cases. After making it through the Assembly on a 48-25 vote in May, the Senate approved it this week, 25-12. That's some sound advice from California right there. The second measure, 221, would prohibit the sale of firearms and ammunition at the state-owned Cow Palace in Daly City. The historic venue has been the location of numerous gun shows throughout the years, which has drawn the ire of Democrats from nearby San Francisco, a city regulated its last gun shop out of business in 2015. The bill passed the Assembly in a contentious 44-31 vote before navigating the Senate 26-13.
Those are go on, man. It's over. Game over, man. Game over.
Okay. Our country is awash in guns, and the school children are dying, said the bill's sponsor, State Senator Scott Wiener.
Wiener?
Wiener. Wiener. We need fewer guns, and we need to stop the proliferation of guns whose only purpose is to kill as many people as possible, as quickly as possible. It's not why we have firearms. You dumbasses, you dumbass Democrats are ignoring this thing called the Constitution, of which all the fucking laws in the country are based off of. But again, it's California. If you guys want to break off because of a earthquake and fall into the ocean, I'm not going to cry over you sinking. So, also headed to Brown is Senator Anthony Portantino's SB 1100 that would bar firearm sales to those under 21 years of age. The move would be similar to laws passed in Florida and Vermont this year, both of which have triggered a legal challenge. A fiscal analysis of the measure estimates California will lose out on $2.2 million per year in mandatory dealer fees to the decreased number of gun sales resulting from the proposed new laws. Nonetheless, the Assembly approved it 47-30 on Tuesday, setting up a 26-12 state concurrence on Wednesday.
Yeah, at this point, I really think there's really no turning back for California. I don't think that they're man.
We're not done yet. It goes deeper.
Wait, there's more punishment? Really?
There's more. There is more.
Good God.
Okay, listen to this. I am determined to help California respond appropriately to the tragic events our country has recently faced. The Los Angeles County Democrat said Friday. I feel it is imperative that California leads when Washington refuses to act. Yes, by violating the Second Amendment. Good job, dumbass. And yes, I'm going to call an elected official a dumbass because apparently he can't see the trees for his head. Anyways, another important Tino's proposals, SB 1177, aims to ration all firearms purchases to one every 30 days. The state currently has such a rule for handgun sales, which the proposal would stretch to include shotguns and rifles. Just the District of Columbia, Maryland, and New Jersey have gun rationing laws on the books, but they, like California's current statute, are directed at handguns only. The measure was given a 47-30 nod in the Assembly earlier this week before a 25-12 vote. In the State Senate on Thursday. Okay.
That's when you think it can't get any better.
The move this week grows the stack of gun control expansions on Brown's desk to 8, following just days after legislators forwarded him a quartet of bills to expand lifetime gun bans and make it harder to get a concealed carry permit. He has until September 30th to sign or veto the bills. I talked about California gun laws, I think either last week or week before. Now it's getting worse. I mean, listen, if you're in California, okay, all I'm going to tell you is you got two choices. Leave California and go to a state that has better gun laws, or get all the like-minded individuals that believe in freedom and guns and America that you remember, that your parents remember, that your grandparents remember, that your great-grandparents remember, that, that our ancestors built, that America. And the only thing I can tell you is get those people together that believe in what America truly stands for. And I'm not going to say riot in the streets. I'm not going to say rebel or start a revolution. You guys need to band together and you need to fucking act. I don't know what you're going to do, how you do it. I can't even begin to figure out how you would be able to get through it without getting arrested. But you guys need to figure something out and do something soon. Otherwise, yes, California's going to turn into a shithole. I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it like that. Get triggered. I don't care. Fact is, that's bad. All the things that are happening in California are awful and shouldn't be happening. That is awful. There shouldn't be rationing. We live in the United States of America where you can buy as many damn cars as you can afford, as many damn houses as you can afford, as many things as you can afford. Even some people even more than they can afford. But you have the freedom of choice. And California is telling you that your freedom of choice has been revoked and you do what they say. If California isn't a clear indication of what a police state looks like, I don't know what is.
Again, part of the problem you got is you got your Hollywood elites, you've got Silicon Valley, you've got pretty much everything anti-2A brewing in that state. That the money and the power that those people possess, I don't know if you're ever going to be able to change it. It's just their little initiatives they push for and where they're funneling their money and the anti-gun legislation. Oh man, it's ugly.
There's only one way to change it, and unfortunately, and I don't want to be the first one to say it because then
No,
I get outed. I get outed as the one who started it all, and quite honestly, I don't want to have to start shit.
You know,
But it looks like it's going to
And I-
happen regardless.
and I'm sure once you get out of some of those areas, you get into the more rural areas. I've been told, and what I've heard is once you get away from LA suburbs, whatever, San Francisco, you've got a more pro 2A crowd that, they're doing what they can, but they're just going to be limited by what the laws say.
Yeah, so I'm very unhappy with California right now, and
Well, besides the physical mean of changing things, holy crap! I mean, the only way it will change is an uprising, which hopefully doesn't happen, or something happens to those members of their Congress to where they get scared straight.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it'll happen either.
But I am so disappointed in California. It's not funny. It is so not funny.
What if California is disappointed in you?
I don't give a shit.
And they don't give a shit about you?
This isn't about me. This is about California.
You're in the wrong SC. You're in South Carolina, right? Or North
Yeah, I'm
Carolina?
in South Carolina, yeah. I'm in the wrong Carolina, is what you're saying. I'm not North.
I don't know. I heard North Carolina has gun permits and crap like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, don't they, Sarge? Sarge is talking. And Obnoxious One, you do have a link. Check your damn email. I sent it to you again.
So mine never showed up in my email. Are you
Here.
sure? Are you sure
There
you
it is.
didn't send?
I did press send twice.
Well, it just came through.
Well, it's still
Yes.
not in mine. But anyway, I'm here.
Yes, North Carolina has pistol purchase permits. You can go out and buy a rifle. There's no waiting period. And once you've got either your pistol purchase permit or your concealed carry permit, there's no waiting period. And you just go in and actually I don't think they even run the background check if you've got your concealed carry permit because that's covered in the concealed carry permit. They take you still have to fill out the 4473. But then it just goes out.
All right. So,
All right.
what do you have to add on the California problem, Obnoxious One?
I think we need to get like a bus or two, however many we need to get, the Pro 2A people out, and then we just set charges at the fault line and let it go.
No,
It's really hard to
I like that idea.
that's really hard to get rid of all that GDP and the productivity that actually happens out there.
Yeah, but I don't know where they think they're going to make all their money in California because if you kill one industry off in California, where they've been doing it for years now, at least the past 20 years, they've been trying to kill off the gun industry in California. I mean, that's great and all, but where the hell do you think you're going to make your taxes from? Where are you going to get the money from if you don't have that industry there? If the entire gun industry decides to pull out of California and gives California the bird, like Gary says, then where are they going to get that money from? They're going to go. California's got to go deeper in the hole, into debt.
Oh, they're going to go deeper into debt no matter what.
Well, that's because apparently nobody wants to pay for anything. all the poor people are leaving California and going somewhere else and trying to turn those new places into shitholes because they couldn't get by in California. So either, if you live in California, either stand up and start fighting back somehow, however you do it, or leave. Yeah, it's your only two choices, quite honestly.
Get out.
I would suggest to everybody and not everybody has the means for this, and it could take you a while because God knows it took me a while to get out of Illinois. But if you got the means, get the hell out.
So with California, you could sell your house. Like, let's say you're like, oh, I can't because I got a house or whatever. You could sell your house and make enough profit that you could go somewhere and get another house, like, here in Arkansas or, somewhere in the Midwest for probably the equity you have in your other one.
And you probably get the same size house too,
If not bigger.
if not bigger. It's true. So, all right. So that depressing thing of California, yeah, that's done. That's over. I'm done talking about California. California can go die in a fire. Hell, they practically are already. So,
All right.
Zorro.
So I picked up a pair of Nikes today. I heard that there's like a
You
Zorro
can leave
jumped
now,
in.
Foos. A
Did
pair of
you
Nikes
immedi-
that throw in the
Did
fire
you
or what?
immediately put them back down?
No. I didn't even
Zorro
pick the pair
jumped
up.
in. So, Sparta, I have to ask, have you found where you're going to move yet?
I'll be honest, I'll probably never move from California.
Well, then I hope you enjoy your rationing.
Yeah, I guess I enjoy it, but the only thing I can say is if I'll probably move when California decides to get rid of all the guns in California. Most
They're-
likely.
Well,
They're actively working on that.
Yeah, well, of course, but until they come to my house and be like, you know what, we need your guns. Yeah,
Probably take your knives and your swords away too.
probably.
Those could cut someone.
yep.
Oh yeah, so my
So-
my teeth.
So could the fingernail clipper.
Yeah, so my teeth can't do the same.
Yeah, but they can't literally. Well, no, that's not true. They
They
could
can-
literally pull the
If
teeth from your mouth if they wanted to.
they can defang. They can take away your teeth too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's called pliers.
Yeah,
And I
that
like
is true.
So, I don't know how I feel about California. I'm kind of disappointed, but at the same time, I'm glad that this one bill didn't go through, which is basically doing a background check on freaking everything, on like barrels, magazines, and anything accessorized. So,
Well, the fact that
There are
they can dictate how
silver
many
linings.
guns you can buy a month, I'm
Huh?
not down with that. I'm sorry.
well, no, but we're gonna have to see what we can do on that. I don't know. It's kind of hard to do it when there's a whole bunch of Democrats in there, and I know we voted for them. I don't vote for Democrats, so it's like kind
Tell
of
you,
an
none of
uphill
my
battle.
family voted for Democrats. That's for damn sure because they're all Republicans, and I think they're probably the last Republicans in California because, I don't see any Republicans actually getting any grounds in California.
Well, the problem with the night strike is if you go Southern California and then Northern California are like different places. It's kind of like Illinois
Most
with
of my family lives in Sacramento.
Well, the thing is, look, you have to the bigger cities control basically everything we do in California. You
Yeah.
go to the country towns where I live, we're pro 2A as fuck.
just like Illinois when you got south of I-80.
Mhm.
It was like being in a different state. Of course, the whole state is controlled by Chicago.
Same
much.
with Missouri. I mean, any any state with a large metropolitan area, and Georgia's the same way, you're going to have that one area that is able to suck up and control the state.
And the bad part is that as those cities grow, the more grasp they have on the whole state.
Yep.
So, for instance, I'm just making an example because from what I'm looking at, there's a lot of states that can never imagine that would ever have any anti-gun bills are becoming a little bit like California. They're using California politics and tactics.
They're using California as a model.
Exactly.
That needs to stop.
But the thing is if California, let's just say, metaphorically speaking, as an example, California goes tyrannical and decides to go to knock on every door and confiscation. Let's just say that in New York. Every other state, every other politician is going to be like, yes, we did it. Ooh, Kentucky. Well, who's Democratic over there? Oh, Frank is? Okay, Frank. Whole bunch of Democrats. Let's go over there. Now, they're like gophers. Let's jump on this side. And let's see how far we can get there.
I'm sorry, but Kentucky's
I'm just using it as an example.
a Republican state. I'm telling you right now, if you try to take away the guns from the good people of Kentucky, you'd probably spark a civil war right there.
I'm just using it as an example.
No, I'm not kidding.
Again, look
I
at
lived in
California.
Kentucky. I know how people in Kentucky love their guns. So,
See you, Sarge.
later, Sarge.
All right, Serge.
Yep.
Take care, man.
I gotta go. I'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks for
Sarge.
staying
Later,
with
man.
us, Sarge.
Thanks for the invite.
See you, Sarge.
Anyways, so I got some good news. All right, so we're moving on to our next topic. Apparently, they had I think it was a quarterly report with the stock exchange. Smith & Wesson stock has soared after their favorable earnings report.
Yep.
So Smith & Wesson is actually doing much better in the stock market, and Smith & Wesson is making more money now. So that's good for the company.
What we need
I
are more.
don't know if that has anything to do with getting threatened by anti-gunners and children, but either way, it's nice to hear that a gun business is actually thriving.
Well, whenever you put out a good, solid product, I mean, you have to think about it. When was the last time you heard of a Smith & Wesson being total shit?
Don't listen to DB.
Those revolver that had the release on the top and the integrated laser. But that was the only thing I can think of.
Is that real?
Is that a real thing?
Oh, was that a bodyguard revolver? I forget what they called it. It was a polymer. It was sort of like it was Smith's answer to the LCR, but it had the release like up top, so you could hit it ambi from either thumb. I didn't like.
Sounds like something from Taurus.
Wait, you mean like a Webley?
Yeah, kind of. No, it
Oh
didn't
my-
open at the top. It's just instead of having the lever like for your right-handed.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever saw that, man.
Basically, instead of a hammer, it had a cylinder
You
release.
push forward. Yeah, the cylinder release was up.
Oh,
on
I
the hand.
gotcha.
It's double action only, so it's like an LCR. It's just that it was like Smith's version of it. I think they call it the bodyguard revolver. I just didn't like it. I didn't like how you pulled it out of your pocket the wrong way. It could open the cylinder. So,
Right.
I mean, they could have had you might make fun of it, but they might have had a buttload of easy 380 sales that brought a lot of revenue into it. A lot of potential gun owners that didn't buy a gun before because they couldn't operate a slide properly. I'm just thinking of the elderly or ladies. And my cousin bought one for his wife, and she absolutely loves it.
Oh, I do see it. M&P Bodyguard 38.
So
and it also had a laser that you had to like touch instead of just grip it. Instead of just grabbing onto it, you had to like.
So yeah, I don't see where the laser is, but yeah, it's.
but either way, it is nice to hear that the gun industry, parts of the gun industry, are thriving, even with the overwhelming assholes of the left trying to take away firearms.
We in California accept this message.
Yeah, I'm not going to go into that again. We're moving on from California.
No, I'm just making a joke.
I know.
Yeah, I don't like where that's is either, and you don't have to have a laser on it.
Here,
That one almost looks like a smooth cylinder, though. That would be cool.
this is what they're talking about. The Bodyguard MMP?
So where would the laser be then?
Just look for the non-laser model, and it's weird. It's up front, I think. I don't remember. Was it? It might have been on the grip. Oh no, it was up top. It's a stupid one.
So it's integrated into the molding of the frame, or is it a separate accessory they've bolted onto it or stuck on it, or?
Just go to the laser model of it.
Oh,
Unless-
okay, all right.
Well, I'm just
I
looking at
can't.
the screen there.
Check it
But-
out here.
I think it was up on top because I remember you had to do something awkward to engage it. They might have got rid of it because it was awkward. And they'll also, rely on Crimson Trace or somebody to make a grip for it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's it.
Okay, yes, it's kind of back behind the cylinder in the top right.
Oh God,
right
that's
here.
awful.
The insight laser.
That is awful.
No, I mean the Crimson Trace is just below that, isn't it? Just below the cylinder, isn't that where that's normally located?
Yeah.
Well, Crimson Trace is actuated with your non-shooting.
Oh,
with your
Yeah,
shooting.
yeah.
your
you're talking about this one, this right here.
Yeah, and that little button is how you actuate it.
So basically, you have to be left-handed to hit it.
No, there's no way to hit it. It's super awkward because if you're right-handed, you can't bring your fingers up there, and if you're left-handed, what are you going to bring your thumb that
Your
high?
thumb, yeah.
It's not possible. There's no way to hit it, and you got it's just super awkward.
So it's got to be actuated
Yeah, that little button.
continuously. It's not just a turn it
No,
on,
no.
turn it off.
It's hit the button and then it's on. So now you got a laser on until you can reach over there and turn it off again.
Okay, well that's
It's not too bad, but it's not that great.
No,
No, that's bad. I mean, people that are concerned about lasers being a target indicator, you don't want to just have a laser on until you can decide to turn it off.
right.
You want it off as soon as you release your.
You can still turn
That's
it
like
off and
having
on, so.
that's like having your light on all the time.
Right.
You're into that, Foos.
I'm not.
All right.
Yeah, that's kind of.
All right, that's
Yeah.
awful. So let's move on. All right,
But-
so
But I mean, besides that, that's one model. I mean, it still functions. Whereas you go back to Remington or Colt, because Colt hasn't put out anything in a while.
about the Remington R51.
Exactly. I mean, like with Remington, you could. Yeah, I mean, with Remingtons, it's just model after model after model after model.
Yeah. But again, we're going to move on. I got another topic, and then we can talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about after. All right. So we got some good news. Apparently, there's now a NASCAR car representing the firearms industry. I'm going to screen share this real quick, but apparently, Henry Repeating Arms has sponsored a NASCAR car, and
Because of
Just,
drunk driving, I think NASCAR should be banned.
well, that's okay.
It's about time. I'm surprised there aren't more firearms manufacturers that advertise in racing, especially NASCAR, where we keep hearing about race number attendances are down and sponsorship money's down. We might see more of a resurgence in firearms advertising in general.
Well, you have to think of firearms and the economics of
Sponsorship.
them. Well, no, not just like economics. Like say Smith and Wesson, if they'd want to do this, they'd have to sell so many firearms to a third of the country that only has firearms, and like I have one Smith and Wesson, but I bought that years ago. How many of you guys have bought a Smith and Wesson in the past? In 2018, versus Pepsi or Coca-Cola or even Bass Pro or something like that, where it's their marketability is to more people.
You also have to take into account the price of their firearms as well. Anyways, though,
Yeah, I bought a Smith in 2017.
so apparently Henry Repeating Arms made its NASCAR debut Sunday during the Johnsonville 180 race in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin.
Oh, so
Short hop-
it's like not a bush race, but wasn't.
Well, they're getting their foot in the door.
Yeah.
No, it's one of the standard races. Remember, all over the country, NASCAR does races, and then there's the what's the big one?
I think Elkhart Lake is road course,
Is that
isn't
the
it?
Indy 500? No, it's not the Indy
Daytona.
500. It's
Well,
Daytona.
no. I mean, NASCAR, it has their Premier Series, and then it has several other ones that are like, if you follow baseball, the different levels of AAA and stuff like
Dude,
that.
I argued this with Nice Rick. He said NASCAR is NASCAR. There is no. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, absolutely. There is. There's different cars. There's different motors, packages. They run on different limitations. Absolutely, each one is. I mean, yeah, it's NASCAR because it's stock car racing, but
The main
I was thinking
Cup
like
one
Series
has
is
a
called
different.
the Monster Energy sponsors a Cup Series right now.
Oh, it is. I didn't even know who sponsored it.
See, I thought it
Xfinity.
was still Winston. Winston
Oh no,
Cup.
Winston hasn't done
Bush
it.
Grand Nationals. Yeah.
Here's another look at the car. Here's the owner, I think, of the company that built the car, I think. And there it is in racing. So
Actually, racing.
I don't know if they won. I don't know if they won that race, but I'd like to know. I really would like to know what place they got into. So
What
Wait,
race
no,
was
what
that
is it?
again?
I was about to
That-
say.
that was the
You have
Johnsonville 180 race.
But again, now don't forget that shirt. That car is going to go on T-shirts and merchandise and posters, and they'll be marketing it. Henry will be marketing it themselves, and die-cast cars and toys and video games, and
So that will probably depend on if it was a 1 or 2 race deal or if it is an entire year, which
season.
I would assume this is a smaller deal than a main
They're-
sponsorship for an entire
Who's
season.
they're advertising on an SCCA Porsche also. That
Yeah,
race.
that race is in the
too, so.
Xfinity Series, which is the second tier of NASCAR.
I tried to sponsor a NASCAR, but they don't have any vans.
You need to get a monster truck, G-Webs. You need to get a monster van and run that in like the King of the Monster Truck series or whatever with Bigfoot and Gravedigger and stuff. That'd be awesome.
What was the number on that car?
Construction wagon. There you go.
90.
Dude, they should have gone with a better number. That's not even a gun number.
Hey, it's finished 10th. Not bad.
Yeah.
22 would have been good. 45, I guess.
44.
I thought about that when I walked out because I went down and got
09.
my post office box this week, and I thought about it as I walked out. As they gave me 516, I thought I should have asked if 556 was available.
Or
Right.
4570.
But I just figured this would be a nice light note to end our topics on, because quite honestly, it's nice to see a firearms company taking interest in
So-
something other than firearms.
So does this Infinity series race in California
Xfinity.
or Xfinity?
Ooh, yeah, they might be out at Sebring or
That would be
Laguna
They might
Seca.
be.
hell.
They go to, aren't they in Laguna Seca? We'll have to look up their series and see where they're at.
It's
You
just
might
that they
need
have
to.
to unload all the decals before they enter the state.
That would just be awesome, man. It looks like they're doing a full season. It says a full car sponsorship, so maybe they are doing the full season.
So if they're doing the full season, then hell yeah. I mean, good. So
Well, I think it's definitely going to be like what Travis is saying. Then the toys, and they're going to do their own merchandising. I bet you'll
Oh,
have
yeah.
says NASCAR on it, right?
Hey, I look forward to seeing how this car does in NASCAR, and as much as I can follow, I will. Because it would be nice to hear, that a gun company sponsored a winning car.
Heck yeah, man.
All right. So, guys, I know you guys have some topics. So, what do you want to talk about now? I'm
Those
literally out of
Nikes and
topics.
Foosbot.
Do we have to talk?
What's the Nike thing? All I see is the people and out on Instagram, but I don't know what is the thing that freaked them out.
So
Kaepernick's their new poster child.
yeah,
Is that the guy that wouldn't kneel down?
That's the guy that
They
kneeled
did.
down.
Kneel down?
it started it. Yeah.
And because he is getting paid by Nike, everybody doesn't like him or doesn't like Nike now.
Well, you're sponsoring a person that's, I don't know. I guess it depends on how you feel about it. Is it something he should do when he's on the clock or not? What do you do when you're an NFL player? Should you make your protest or not?
So my viewpoint is, if you are actively getting paid and doing your job, you should not be a part of politics. If you want to go out on your own time, and protest, bring light to yourself, for that, perfectly fine. Even if you want to say, hey, I'm Kaepernick, I'm part of this team and I'm protesting for this, that's fine. But if you're at your place of business and you protest and it puts a negative light on your company, absolutely they have a right to do whatever the hell they want, up to including firing you.
Exactly. The thing is they don't want to do that outside of work because it's not televised. And not a lot of people are watching it. If you see any other person on, let's say, an ad on TV, they're going to be like, oh, he's doing that. They're not going to pay more attention. They're going to pay more attention to the guys that are whole row of their whole team, all waiting for the game to start, and they're the ones kneeling because the cameras are on the guys that are kneeling instead of the ones the guys are saluting or paying homage to the American flag.
And then that sports team, in this case, are going to lose fans.
Well, exactly. But the thing is that it's like what you said. If you're working, I don't think if you're working and you spew out to your customers about like you're a worker, not the owner, and you're spewing out your political ideals you're gonna lose customers and you're gonna get fired. But if we say fire the players who are doing that in football, it's like heresy. It's like, no, we shouldn't do that because
they have a right to say it. Well,
exactly, but they're working. They're
I agree with you.
So it's like, if you're getting paid to do your job, then do it. Suck it up, buttercup, and do the job. Don't give me your spiel, football players wise, in that point of view. Don't give me your political ideals because this is your job. You're getting paid to throw a ball and catch it and run.
Speaking of getting paid, I believe
Wait. Did I just hear Bob in here? I heard suck it up, buttercup.
Speaking of getting paid, I think you owe Bob a quarter.
Like, for me and my job, there's stuff I have to hold my tongue at work.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
Don't
part
worry
of
about it.
the
I've got
deal.
a Canadian quarter from Bob.
That's like
Okay, I give the quarter to Bob.
Give him a Canadian quarter. There we go.
I give him a peso. A Mexican dollar.
Yeah, it's even worth. It's worth even less than the Canadian
Exactly.
dollar. That's great. I support that. So, is anybody out there in the chat on the YouTube side, on the Gun Channel side, or do any of my panelists here have a topic we want to move on to?
The Nike one was the main one I wanted to bring up, but I can't think of anything else right now off the top of my head.
So this Nike thing, I read that they lost $3.5 billion worth of stock. This just today, that their stock went down that much.
Which company?
Time to buy Nike stock.
Nike.
Oh, Nike. Okay. Well, I don't buy Nikes. I buy start with an A.
Adidas?
Yeah, Adidas.
I wear Skechers.
I don't buy Nike. I never liked Nike. So even
Nike
though there's
wants
like
too much.
50 million stores in my area, and I'm joking, not 50 million, but I don't buy Nikes. I don't like their shoes.
Well, as bad as this whole thing has been for Kaepernick and for the NFL and for everybody that was involved with it, I saw this come across and I'm like, why does Nike hate money? I just don't understand where they're going with this. It's not going to turn out well for
I
them.
think they're going off with that left-leaning crowd that sees Kaepernick as their hero.
Well,
Those
yeah, it's
kids
like the
that
same
think
thing
that
with the
he's
gaming company.
everything that authority says you can't do, and trying to strike a nerve with that crowd.
Yeah.
No, the thing that I keep seeing on Instagram is like the picture with like just the words and a little Nike swish underneath, and it says something like "Do whatever, if it risk it all, do what your dreams" or something like some little inspirational thing. Is the some part of this because they're putting them up there as like somebody who's getting persecuted for doing what's right in the wake of the
Yeah,
just whatever.
basically.
Okay, so not just like, hey, we're paying this guy, but we're also putting this guy up on a pedestal as if he's some kind of hero for doing what he's doing.
Pretty much.
Okay, because I kind of got that impression. I didn't know where it came from, so that clears it up. Because I saw a lot of stuff where it'd be a fireman or a police officer with that same saying, and I was going, okay, they're probably supporting somebody who's not a real hero, I guess is what we call him.
Well, it's like the same thing that's happening with the gaming companies and certain games that like Battlefield, that they want to appease certain peoples and they're losing money. They want money, but I feel like they're not thinking their things through in the fact of how to get more money. And they're like, I wonder if we do this, will we get more money? And then when they realize, like an instant regret.
Yeah.
It's like Dick's Sporting Goods where they're losing a lot of money. They're like, we're not going to do this with guns. And they're like, fuck. Shit.
That was not a smart choice.
They're not going to sell anything else either pretty soon.
But they're not Dick's Sporting Goods. Nike is Nike. I mean, that's international giant, one of the top companies of all, right? So they can do something like this, afford to lose a bunch of
funds
customers
to fail, and
they can afford to lose a bunch of customers. The search engine stuff alone, I just happen to be doing a bunch of search engine stuff right now, but just thinking about the bump they're going to get that's permanent from all the hits that people are doing with Nike right now, and people like myself that are like, what's going on? I'm going to go see if I can figure it out on the Nike site or something. So they're going to be getting an incredible amount of residual worth out of this. And of course it's going to blow over, right? They can either force it to get blown over by doing something or just let it go away over time. And they're going to win. It's a giant company. They may have done this strategically or not, but I don't see them losing much, even if their stock prices did go down. Just like Gary said, that means people are buying Nike today.
oh yeah, there's probably a lot of people buying Nike. Yeah.
It'll eventually come back up. When it does, you'll be rich. Of course, you're going to be a horrible person for doing that, but you'll be a rich, horrible person.
No guilt there. Yeah.
You make money in a traditional way by investing and then taking the risk and then having it come true, and the what you expected happen, and then you've created profit. If you pull that profit and use it to the Gun Owners of America or the Second Amendment Foundation or some other worthy gun owners' rights group, I say use that tool.
Let's be real. That's how you play the market. That's how the big boys do it.
I walk around barefoot.
It's roll call 219. Roll call, buddy.
He spoke.
He's alive. It's alive.
Yes, I'm here, and I'm ready.
So did you just get off work?
Yes, sir.
All right. So Mr. Jimenez Tooth, what do you have to say on all this?
Well, I haven't bought a pair of Nikes in about 10 years. I did find a pair of Air Jordans, though, that I wore to Tulsa. I bought those for $54.99, and that was the last pair of tennis shoes that I bought. I usually wear boots, or I wear slippers, or I don't wear shoes at all. So Nike, you can kiss my ass.
I was wearing boots in Tulsa. Broke all can tell you.
I just can't wait for Never Enough Ammo's Nike Go Fuck Yourself video.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for it too.
It's coming.
Ghost, you have a link too if you check your emails. You want to do that?
Whoa.
So, just putting it out there. I linked 23 people in the blind carbon copy. So,
Dang.
Yeah, so much for us being special, huh, Travis?
I guess.
quite honestly, I'm happy that anybody shows up. I hate running hit or miss when not having a panel. It sucks.
Thank you, Nice Shark, for the link, buddy.
No problem, Zoro. Anytime.
Thank you.
AC97 is saying hashtag never enough. Go fuck yourselves.
This is true. That's usually some of his best work.
Yeah, that is some of his best work.
That's kind of his trademark. And, the fact that those services are available to anybody for the right price really makes it even more enticing.
Just Dano is saying 23 people and 7 show up. Yes, but even with that, Dano, that's pretty damn good odds.
The max is 10, though, so you'd have to cut off at some point.
Yeah. But
It's
if 7 people show up out of 27, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, just by Night Strike standards. What's going on, Ghost?
What's going on? Thanks for having me, bro.
No problem. I mean, I get Clover link too, but I'm pretty sure Clover is probably, protecting his Lucky Charms.
He's got standards.
I have no standards.
Has standards.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just here to pimp my stuff, so I have no standards whatsoever.
We know. We know. I restrained myself from taking the 2-bit content creator stance and promoting GunTube on your show this evening. So
I actually put the link out there a couple different times in the chat, so hopefully people got it.
So again, what's your take on this, Ghost? If you've been listening, any of the topics we talked about tonight, do you have anything you want to comment on? Anything you want to say?
I have probably a little different take on the whole Nike and Kaepernick thing, and there's been a lot of people bashing Nike for bringing Kaepernick up, and I might piss some people off. I hope I don't, because it's not my show, but if I do, I apologize. But in my neck of the woods in Arkansas, a lot of it seems to be kind of racial centered. Why would they get this guy? This, that, and the other. A lot of it is based towards his disrespect of the flag, the national anthem, the military. My take is this. I served in the military to protect and preserve the Constitution of the United States. The First Amendment protects freedom of speech. It also protects what they call freedom. Well, I guess it kind of does, but they can basically do and present themselves on how they want. Now, my thought is this. To be an American, part of it is to sit there and say, I might listen to this guy and I might not agree with anything that he says or he does, but it is his right as an American. And as someone that truly loves America, it may boil your blood to see Kaepernick kneeling, and it may boil your blood to see him protesting. If it's something that he wants to do, he can do what he wants, but he has to live through the repercussions of his actions. So I actually have no problem with him kneeling. I have no problem with Nike bringing him on, because what they're doing is he's being the face of the 30th anniversary of Just Do It. Whether or not we agree with what he's doing or what he's saying, he took a chance and basically threw away his career for something he believed in. Just because we don't believe in it or we don't believe in the way he did it was right, doesn't mean that as an American, he doesn't have the right to do that. So I have a little different take on that. I might have pissed some people off.
Well, I have a question for you guys.
Well,
and this is a very good question. Okay, listen, Ghost. you say you're doing a job like that. You're getting paid to play a game. Okay. Now, if you're getting paid to play a game, do you think it is acceptable to politically protest while you're getting paid to play a game?
I'll put it to you this way: if I was the owner of an NFL team, my stance would be, if you want to protest on your own time, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. The second you put on my uniform representing my franchise and you step on that football field, you're representing my football team or my business. You will do as I say, and if you don't like it, you can go somewhere else. That being said, I'm not saying that I agree with what he did. I'm saying that I agree that he has the right to do that. I would, if he was my employee, he would have been fired on the spot. That's just me. I would have told him to leave the sideline, leave your uniform, and we'll fight each other in court. That being said, what I'm saying, my whole point is if he wants to throw away a career by doing that, because he had the right to do that. At that time, there were not any rules in place the NFL had that you couldn't kneel. So he was exercising his right of freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and he was being an American. If it was for me, no, he wouldn't be doing that. I'm just saying. But I do understand why he did it and why he felt like it was important for him to throw his career away.
Well,
that's my point,
he was never that good, and he got found, and his whatever got found out, and that's why he's out of a job, and he's trying to bankroll his activism into another job. He's been offered jobs and turned them down. And two, he's an idiot because he's up there protesting against police and the flag and racial injustice, and then walks up to a press conference wearing it was either Che Guevara or a Fidel Castro shirt. Give me a break. He's an idiot.
I agree that he was not very talented. I will agree that he's a phenomenal athlete, but he might not have been a great quarterback. But just saying that he wasn't very good as a reason why he doesn't have a job, that's part of it. But from a marketing and advertising side of things, there is not a football team right now that wants to touch that. Because
he's had offers.
As good. I understand that. What I'm saying is there are people that are just as good or better that don't have the baggage that he has. So, yeah, I mean, you're right. He wasn't that good.
He's had offers, though, Ghost. Denver and Baltimore both gave him offers to come try out. And he's trying to parlay his activism into a bigger deal.
Once again, that's his prerogative. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. If that's what he wants to play it.
I'm just saying he didn't throw away his career because he was standing up for it.
It's not acceptable if you're getting paid to do a job to politically, be a political activist when you're on the job. That's, if you want to be a political activist, you're supposed to do that on your own time and not take up, your job's time.
I agree with that entirely. That was one of my biggest problems with any of them is that they're doing it on the job. And the only reason that they're not being tossed out on their ass for doing it is because then everybody will start screaming racism at the owners. They did it when Trump said they should toss him out. It was automatically, it's racist.
Let me ask you, just playing devil's advocate here. Let me ask you guys a question. 1968, there were some black track and field athletes that wore a glove and threw their fist in the air while receiving their medals. Are they not on their job also? They're looked at as heroes. What's the difference?
Different times?
Why?
Different times, and they were actually Well, that was during the Olympics, right?
But their job is to
they were during the
is to reflect and to demonstrate America to the world. They're wearing the U.S. flag and they're protesting racial inequality. Why are these guys looked at as heroes and Kaepernick's looked at as an idiot? Just playing devil's advocate here.
I'm going to chalk it up to saying it was different times then, and that things were a lot worse off then than they are now. because of laws and because of stigmas.
Okay, I'll take that as an answer.
You got me kind of in a quandary here, but
It's a very
That's
good
what the
point.
discussion's supposed to be about. I love it. I love the discussion.
and well, I think that was the Olympics, wasn't it?
It was Olympics in
Okay.
1968. Yeah,
So they're amateurs.
but they're literally
I'm just
representing the United States of America, and they're protesting America.
I'm working through it here, Ghost. I'm working through it here. I mean, but yeah, best answer I could say, as with Night Strike, it was a different time, and it was much worse. It was a much bigger issue than what Kaepernick is supposedly standing up for. And Kaepernick isn't standing up for that anywhere that there's not a camera.
Not everybody thought those Olympic athletes were heroes either.
That this is also true.
There were plenty of people who didn't like that.
If Kaepernick would actually get out there and walk the walk, then maybe I'd say so. It's the same thing that I say about Chicago. They've got all these people. You got the one pastor or the one father in Chicago that's a joke. They get out there and they protest gun violence, but nobody's out there on the streets at 2 a.m. when all the actual gun violence is going on. They get out there and they get on Michigan Avenue and they get on the expressways and they cause problems for those people, but they don't get out there actually into the community where the stuff is happening. They talk the talk, they don't walk the walk. And that's the same thing with Kaepernick. He goes in and he kneels during the game, and what else have you heard about him doing? Have you heard about him going out? He's been offered to come meet with cops and meet with people, and he's been offered jobs, and it's more important to him to try and parlay this into, and it apparently worked because he got the Nike contract. So he parlayed his activism into a paycheck.
Yeah, he's pledged over $1 million. I'm not taking up the guy. I'm trying to make sure that everyone isn't using just emotion on this. And you look at a guy who has made a lot of money, but I know $1 million may not be the big in these grand scheme of things with the money they're making, but he's pledged over $1 million to many organizations. So I think that he is backing it up in his pocketbook. Now, whether or not we agree with it, I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but I do reflect on my notions that it's his right. At the time he was doing it, there were no rules in the NFL that disallowed him to do that. So he was playing within the rules. It wasn't like he was going against NFL rules. If the media and the people don't like it, then they sure as hell didn't have to show it on camera. They could have just ignored them, but they brought light to it. And if you're standing up for something, whether you believe it, whether it's right or wrong, if you believe something, you have a platform to do it. He felt in his mind that it was worthwhile to do. I don't, like I said, I don't agree with it, but I do agree with the fact that he has a right to do it.
I've got the picture of the Olympic athletes on my
He also has a right to face the consequences for his actions.
Exactly.
Does a right to do something mean that it's right?
Absolutely not. Like I said, I don't agree with it. I don't applaud him. I don't praise him for doing it. I will never buy a Kaepernick shirt or whatever, but I do acknowledge the fact that he has the right. Like you said, it may not be right, but he has the right to do it.
Correct.
He has the right to do it, but not while he's getting paid to do a job. He's supposed to do the job.
Dude, this is 2020 hindsight. Most has said it over and over.
And be an activist when he's off the job.
No,
and did his bosses release
you don't have anything to stand on. Ghost said it more than once already that there was no rule against it. So you're saying that he doesn't have the right to do it, or that he shouldn't have done it, not a right because that has connotation. He shouldn't have done it while he's on the clock. Ghost is telling us that there was no rule that he shouldn't do that on the clock. Now there is. So if he does it now, I think I could see you having a fit about it. But don't get upset about something he did before he created the situation. Before the situation was there, he was just doing something.
That's kind of yes, kind of no, because they all sign morals clauses and they all sign contracts that they're supposed to represent their team in a positive way. So, I mean, you can make the argument either way that there was no rule against that specifically, but there was a rule against, representing his team.
You're right about that. And that's up to that individual owner
Exactly.
to decide if he is projecting the image of the San Francisco 49ers. Obviously, ultimately, he said no, it wasn't because he fired him or he didn't renew his contract or didn't offer him a contract. So that's how he was. Like I said, there's so many different ways you can look at it. Ultimately, like I said, I have a different take than people, and it's going to piss some people off, and that's okay. It's great for discussion. But like Gary was saying, or someone was saying that, I don't remember who it was, might have been Gary, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but they were saying that, nobody liked it. Well, Kaepernick wasn't the only one taking a knee. He had hundreds of other players across the NFL doing the same thing. So there were a lot of people, regardless of if we believed in it or not, that did agree with him. So he wasn't the only one doing it.
But he was the first.
There were a handful of them doing it until Trump brought it up, and then it was a big F you Trump. That's when it really went viral.
Yeah.
There was a handful of them doing it, and then Trump brought it up, and then it was, oh, Trump's evil, Trump's Hitler, Trump's racist. Now we're all going to do it.
Well, let's look at it this way. Where was Colin Kaepernick 10 years ago? Where was he in college? You guys have to understand, he was adopted by two white parents. So where was he before he hit the NFL for racial equality around at least the United States? Where was he then? It wasn't until he got a soapbox to stand on to send his message. So what's driving him to do this?
I don't remember. Did he do this while he was still the starter, or did he start this after he got benched? I don't remember. I want to say that he got benched first.
Yeah, it was right in the middle where he came off the great season he had, and he did have a good season, and then all of a sudden he started to flounder a little bit. All his teammates started retiring because of concussions. But then all of a sudden he wasn't as good as he was. And now he took a knee.
I want to say he was benched and then he took a knee. I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not real sure about the timeline. I got a question for Devil's Advocate. I don't mean to take over the show, but I got a question for you real quick.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
You consider yourself a Second Amendment activist, correct?
I would say advocate. I mean,
advocate. Okay, but you're not opposed to standing up in public to talk about the Second Amendment, correct?
No, I'm not.
This is Devil's Advocate, taking your point. Put yourself in a position at 21 years old versus now. Were you willing to do that at 21 years old? Do the same thing you are now? Were you willing to go on YouTube and talk about the Second Amendment as a 21-year-old?
As a 21-year-old, I was in MEPS right after 9/11.
I'm just asking you, 21 years old, willing to do that?
Yeah, hell yeah, I was. I was always willing. I was always willing. There wasn't a doubt in my mind.
Okay, so being willing and actually doing it, did you participate in Second Amendment rallies or anything like that as a 21-year-old?
Yeah.
You did. So you were active in
I just never knew about YouTube.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering because, what you were saying is why didn't he do it in college? We don't know that he didn't do it in college. But we also have to understand that our minds change and our priorities change in life as we get older and we see different things in the world that maybe he wasn't an activist at 22 years old in college. Maybe it took something for him to see to sit there and say, man, that hit me. I understand what they're saying. There's some wrong things in this world. I have a platform now that I can use, and now I'm going to use it. Just because he didn't at 22 years old doesn't mean he didn't think that way.
But then you got to look at it this way then, Ghost. How about Tim Tebow? Tim Tebow was kneeling down the end zone in college. He was praising the Lord for him. So what stopped Colin Kaepernick from doing that?
He was another quarterback who wasn't that good.
Yeah.
But we don't know.
He got cut.
In Nevada, we don't know what he was doing at Nevada. Maybe he was an activist at Nevada. We don't know that.
I don't know.
But
Keep going.
Sorry for taking over. How my bad.
No. Please, I have to step away for a second.
You're not taking over.
What are you, Midnight Range TM? Walking away from your own stream?
What is Post gonna connect to this one at the end? You're doing all the work.
And I didn't know I joined Midnight stream. And you're just the guy that starts the stream is just gonna walk away from it.
Yeah, he was gone for like 10, 15 minutes, man.
Well, his kid was sick, and it was kind of a rough situation. There isn't much he can do when it's just him and the wife and a sick child. I mean, you got to tend to your kid,
Okay, I'm back. So it was only a couple seconds. So deal with it, yo. All right. So are we done with this Kaepernick thing? Do you guys want to continue discussing it, or do you want to move on?
Nah, we're good. I think we're good. We get the idea.
I want to see the next one that Ghost is going to make me think about.
That doesn't happen very often. I don't do anything that makes people think.
I don't think
because I'd be
I
burning.
don't think Ghost is going to give us another aha moment for a while.
Maybe he can get Colin Kaepernick on his show.
There you go.
I don't think that's happening.
I mean, he had Jaeger. He gets all the big names.
You had Jaeger, so. All right, we got Tread saying at Night Strike Kaepernick was benched after he went on a diet of some kind and lost a lot of muscle mass and lost his ability to play the game effectively. I argue that he was never able to play the game effectively in the first place. He just got lucky.
He had good numbers.
If you made it through the combines and beat the odds and actually made it to a pro team, you've got to show some kind of athletic prowess to get that. I mean, you're not just going to get it.
Freak athlete. He's a freak athlete. He might be a great quarterback. Yeah. He's a freak athlete.
So I mean, he's the I don't know the lesson of the rule, or after his teammates left, that's when he started to go downhill. So in actuality, football is a team sport. I mean, look at Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler was real great in Denver. But as soon as he came to Chicago, he sucked. There was nobody around him to make him
an offensive line to block for him. He got sacked every other time.
Well, yeah, and they gave Devin Hester, the number one receiver spot. They never got him another receiver. I mean, you can go down the list on what happened to Cutler.
So it's a team sport. Every sport that you play on, you got to have a good team. You got to have people willing to put in the work. Unfortunately for Kaepernick, all his teammates were, scrambled in the brain, and they figured it out. And he just didn't have any other great players behind him, and he struggled mightily. After that year, he went to the Super Bowl.
You remember that thing about a while back about NFL players possibly getting brain damage because of getting tackled so much?
The helmet injuries, you mean? The concussions
and stuff.
Yeah. What if, and I'm just going to throw what if, I'm going to play on Ghost Devil's Advocate thing for a second. What if Kaepernick had gotten some sort of concussion that caused this?
I don't think it's that. I just think he believes in something, all right? And I'll give him that. He believes in something. And
the year before that, or 2 years before that, he got in trouble for wearing headphones from Beats by Dre, which was a violation of league standards because the league is sponsored by Bose. So he got fined like $10,000 at a press conference. And he was also fined for using inappropriate language on the field.
Okay,
so he's kind of a maverick anyway.
Hold up. I'm going to say something on that. Beats are cheaper than Bose because Bose is fucking expensive.
Yeah, but again, your employer has a major sponsorship, and part of which is paying your salary, and you're going to go wear the competition. That's like being a Chevy NASCAR driver and you drive home in a Taurus, I mean, it's probably a no. There's contractual rules. If I wore a T-shirt in class for a rival high school in class, and I did it because I wanted to, because I liked their mascot better or their team better, that's probably not going to boil over well with the taxpayers in the community and my administration. I mean, Travis, that's true. And it's true to any top player.
Travis, I have to ask.
Travis,
how many times has that happened to you?
It hasn't, dude. I would never do something like that. We're the Minutemen. We're one of the few mascots that's armed. Do you think I want to wear a different mascot? Hell no.
Now, Travis has
We
just
play
made me
lock
think.
pistols. What
Made
do?
me think of something. Is why doesn't Matt drive a Taurus?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a
That's a
GoFundMe
great
campaign getting ready to happen. So yeah.
I mean, that's a thinker. I mean, he's making that big Taurus money. You think he'd
I
get
don't
into
know
a
if he is
Taurus.
though. I don't know. He's been trying so hard to lobby for Taurus to sponsor him for years now, and it just hasn't happened. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, my high school was Oldham County Colonels, and I hate to say it, but it was a Kentucky Colonel, and it looked more on the side of say a 1864 style Colonel, and we'll just leave it at that. But again, that's high school for you.
Like Colonel Sanders, you mean?
Something like that. Yeah. Anyways,
We're finger looking good.
I'm done with Kaepernick. I think the chat is done with Kaepernick. I think we need to move on and either decide whether we're going to continue going or kill it. So, does anybody else have another topic?
Did you guys talk about the confirmation hearing today?
We did not. I wanted to get into that. I think
Oh,
the best part of that hearing so far was roll call. Did you see what Lindsey Graham said?
I did not. I watched the Ted Cruz, what Ted Cruz had to say.
Okay. While I do not always agree with Lindsey Graham, I think sometimes he can be a major asshole, but there are sometimes where I am proud that he is my representative. I've spoken to him before, and quite honestly, on this point, I am happy he did what he did. He basically told the Democrats that if they want to, they can't say no to a Supreme Court justice pick and expect the Supreme Court justice pick from a Republican president or a Republican government to appoint a Democrat justice to the Supreme Court if they don't have a Democratic Senate and they don't have a Democratic president. He literally said, if you want to pick a Supreme Court justice, then you better win the presidency.
That's the way it should go.
Yeah. And I got to say, that was a class act by him on that front. So I don't always agree with everything he says, but let's be honest. You're never going to agree 100% with your representative. It's just not going to happen. Not everyone is going to be on the same page 100% of the time. So
I agree.
So he was pretty good. I did not hear what Ted Cruz said. Roll call. What did he say? Did you hear what he said?
He pretty much told everybody the reason why the Democrats want to stall his nomination is because they're trying to position themselves for 2020, and it's not right. It's not right to hold up this man because the Democrats can't figure out what they're doing. The Democrats are in dismay. Ever since they started electing progressive, I guess, socialist Democrats people, I mean, they're in disarray. And Ted Cruz brought up a great point. He's like, he's turned in over 500,000 documentation of what he's been doing in his life, which is 5 times more than any other justice has ever, submitted to these people. And the Democrats are just trying to play the delay game to position themselves for 2020. And he's like, it's not right for you to hold this back when the majority of the American people want this man to be confirmed. And they want a set judicial branch. And it's not right for the Democrats to do this. And he's like, I don't think the Republicans would have done this. And he pretty much said the reason why this is happening, why they want to delay stuff, is because the Democrats they're in disarray. They're trying to position themselves, and they're taking this stuff away from the American people on just the guy. Let's just face it, the guy is more well qualified than the majority of people. You know, that
Probably in that room.
Yeah, in that room. And it's not right for the Democrats to delay this because they can't get their shit together. Go ahead.
I had to walk away from it when I heard one say that I've gone through 19 of these confirmation hearings, and then I heard another one say, in my 40 years in the Senate, because I was going to lose my shit. Because this goes right back to what I said before. These people that go in and they make a career out of being a quote unquote public servant. And I'll go back to it again. When you're actually in the general election, then you vote where you got to vote. But when you're at the primaries, if you're voting for an incumbent, you're voting wrong until they get the message. So when the main election comes up and you've got a Republican or a Democrat, you vote whichever way you're going to vote. I don't care which way it is. You vote whatever way you're going to vote. But when you're at the primaries, you vote against that incumbent until the incumbents get the message that this is our country. We need to take it back. Absolutely. Because these people spending 40 years in Congress is ridiculous. It's not how it was intended, and it's led us to this point.
I believe all those people should have term limits of 6 years. No more, no less. You have 6 years to do what you have to do. And if you can't do it, oh well, because you're already they already get a massive pension. They're gonna have lifetime security. Either way you look at it. So there's no reason for these people to stay in this branch of government for damn near all their life. And it's depressing.
At least. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and say it, G.
So number one, if you remove the people who are elected, right, and you mandatorily remove them, then how can there be any consistency? There's a little bit of engineered overlap, but unless there's excellent, efficient communication amongst them, none of them are there long enough to see anything longer than a 6-year window. And then it's on us to monitor a lot. So my other end of that is what happens with the people who aren't elected, the people that are in that bureaucracy, the people that go to college, that go to school to learn how to work in our bureaucracies, how to manipulate them, how to grow it, how to do whatever to exploit it. And you have elected people there to run the place so that they're aware that those people, and I agree that there should be rotation through and that there should be an overwatch. We're the overwatch. So if we're going to get frustrated, let's get frustrated at ourselves. And if we do nothing but watch comedies on Saturday nights and mysteries on Tuesday, then we're not overwatching our people who are representing all of our month, right? And in our directions and stuff. So, you know, there's a lot of it that we have to look in a mirror for or whatever. My other issue is what happens when a campaign takes longer than 6 years. Some wars, some military strategies think things take longer than 6 years or whatever the window is arbitrarily that we want to make for a term limit. And we have presidents and things that are in charge of that branch, but we have the legislative branch who's in charge of money and procurement, and they are supposed to be responsible for the making sure that the executive branch can do their job. The executive branch doesn't gather resources and make the military. They just run it. They just are the military. So it's our, unfortunately, a lot of stuff has been handed over to people who, you know, you can't give the means of creation of your own department to the people who are running the department. It's supposed to be a mixed balance so that the people who we elect are in charge of the purse strings of the military, but the military goes and does things. So we want those people who have the purse strings, who are aware of the aircraft carriers, of the, you know, the airplane types that we're going to do, or the long-term strategy into whatever tech is coming up. We have, electronic things to worry about now. So I don't like the idea of rotating our elected people through. Those are the people that we have power over. They're there to do the job of minding the shop that does all the things that need to be done.
Yeah,
Well,
but
the Senate is a
happens-
6-year term.
What happens if an elected official decides to ignore the people and does things his own way?
You vote them out.
Yeah. Can you cite me any example of somebody who did something bad and then a bunch of voters got pissed and kicked him out? I don't think you can, because the media doesn't want to worry about that. They have an agenda, and they want to point your direction over there. They don't want you to know that you've got power, and that in Colorado all the Democrats who created the magazine limits got voted out. They don't want you to remember that in 1994, when all the idiots made the assault weapons ban, they all got voted out. We had that echo. We had a silent echo after the 1994 up until 2012, because we voted people out. So to suggest that we don't have the power is us not being aware of our power and not using our power. But we're a part of the equation. The government isn't the thing that does stuff. We're the
I
government.
merely asked the question. I wasn't suggesting anything.
I'm getting all excited about it.
And that's why I say that when the primaries come around, you vote against the incumbent until they get the message, because our government right now is not working.
It's not. And
It's not.
So you get a guy, something happened, he decided, I'm going to run for office. He does it, and he gets in there, and he gets his first term, and he finally gets elected to a committee that he can actually do something, and you vote him out because he's an incumbent. I don't like ultimatums. I don't like black or white. Sorry.
But then you've got the people that have been in there for 40 years.
I don't care. That's the fault of the people who are voting them in.
so, G, if you had to put a number on how long they should be in, how long do you believe, or just your personal opinion, should they be in?
I've never put any thought to it, because we had founding fathers who put a great deal of thought into it and built the system. So I think it's perfect the way it is, and I think if we all did our part, it would work well like it does now. I don't think it's. I love gridlock. I like the government. They're sitting there not being able to grow, and I don't know. Maybe we start hiring people on or voting them in when they pull stuff away. I certainly liked it when they brought constitutional carry to Arizona in July of 2009, and then when it was started into, when they did that, all they did is erase a bunch of stuff from the law books. They just said wherever it said with a concealed carry permit, they erased that part. So now they didn't have to add any law; they just erased some stuff. And if I would have been paying more attention then, I would have. Well, I'm sure I did vote for the people that voted for that. So how do you put a number on it? You watch the people who you've elected to represent you, and when they start doing something bad, you pull them. So you let that decide, not a number. That number is going to be different in South Carolina and Arizona and New York and Oregon.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you were saying that if we have a representative
wrong.
Hold on, let me finish, okay? If there's a representative that's not doing what he was elected to do, then it's the people's job to not vote him in again and get somebody else who will do the job. Correct?
I'm pretty sure that's the way it is, right? That's the way it's supposed to go.
Right. And for most of free America, that's how it works. But the problem is, what happens if your side isn't the majority?
What happens when your side? What are you serious? Like, what happens when your team loses? You rally and you learn, you get better and you get stronger and you become the winners. And then you get complacent and you suck and you become abusive and now you're the losers and somebody else comes along and does it better. That's pretty much the system we've got. It's so that we shed, the skin gets shed all the time. If we got a section of the skin that's getting stuck on there, let's scrutinize what's going on in that area. I mean, there might be some hijinks going on here and there, but I think overall we got a good system. And I hate to decide, let's do something because a guy over there and a guy over there and a guy over there are jerks. They're abusing the system. So let's wipe the whole system out. I want to look at the whole system, 50 states. Can't even imagine how many districts, because I don't keep track. But I'm guessing it's working. I know a couple of guys who stood up and became elected officials, not unwillingly, they did it, but not to gain any ceremony or anything. They wanted to get in there and affect change. So I want people to be able to do that. And I don't want them to think, well, I'd like to affect change, but I'm only going to be able to do it in 6 years. That's an unnecessary restriction, I think. I just don't see the benefit of it, I guess.
Okay. All right. Wow, we've got some really good discussion here. I don't really want to kill it. Does anybody else want to jump in and I guess add to this line of thinking? Anyone?
Oh, I'm good. Like I said, I think we covered it pretty well.
All right.
I'm good, man.
All right then. I guess we're gonna call it here. All right.
Cool.
Wow. Thanks for the mic drop, G.
Do we pick up our checks now, or do they get PayPal? I don't understand the process here.
Well, G gets paid by the hour, so we can be billed, I suppose, huh?
I have a request.
Okay, what's your request, Gary?
We've been through a whole show with Night Strike, and we still haven't heard the one thing that everybody comes to hear from Night Strike.
I don't believe everybody comes to hear that from me all the time. I'd like to believe that they come here for the show, for the discussion, and to take part of the conversation. That's what I'd like to believe. But for those that do come for it, that all I'm gonna say is, shall not be infringed.
Yeah,
that's better.
Dang, that was intense, man. That was
hell yeah.
Took that to 11, bro.
Find a way to get it
saving it up.
Good. In every language.
I wish I could say it in Spanish, but it just doesn't have. It doesn't sound.
You gotta scream it, Zora.
No se refriendo.
I'll take it.
It doesn't have quite the ring to it.
He translated that right. I'm going to give him some credit on that one.
Of course. Have you heard his accent? Of course.
It's just what I do. It's my job. It just kind of comes with the territory. So, Zorro, you get an A+. You can go on.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good job, Zorro. Good job.
Gracias.
Oh, okay.
That's funny.
Such a good encouragement, yeah.
Oh no!
Will we start saying it in German?
Like
The German infection. Oh god, here we go.
And I gotta look how you say in German.
Oh god,
Now,
no good.
now I have to.
We are going to have the hot fruit.
I think it's don't infringe my strudel or something like that. Isn't that what it is?
Well,
My strudel should not be infringed. Yeah.
When we do play video games, it's not Night Strike.
Darf
it's
nicht Sprout voten.
There you go.
Darf ich not voten?
Dude, he sounds like a really drunk German guy.
Sprouts.
Hey, not that we could do any better, mind you. Cool,
I
man.
probably said it all wrong. I butchered it to hell. Watch.
I think it's darf nicht verletzt werden.
Darf nicht verletzt werden.
Darf nicht verletzt nie werden.
Fart snart, fart snart.
Yeah, that's
Or like my dad likes to say, orale.
Anyways, we'll run through the room and everyone can self-promote and share their channels with everyone listening. So, Ghost, you're up first. Self-promote.
Oops, sorry about that. I was on mute. No, thanks for having me, man. I want to remind everybody to get out to the range as much as you can. Become more proficient with your firearms. Grab someone to take with you, especially if they're new to the firearms. You might change their mind. And while you're out there, turn the camera on. We need all the people we can get in the community. And you never know when your one video might change that one mind that starts the revolution. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime. Too bad we couldn't get Clover in here, but Clover was, protecting those Lucky Charms. Anyways, for the lawn chair pops. Gary, go ahead and self-promote. Oh no, we lost everyone.
Gizzard Gary. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Watch my videos. I am at gizzardgary.com if you want to check out all my social media outlets. I recommend that everybody visit and join gunchannels.com. It's a great community, and you'll get to spend a lot of time with people like us. You'll love it. Also, check out guntube.org. It's a great place to keep your 2A videos and everything, and it's also free. And last but not least, like, share, and subscribe to Night Strike.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you. G, go ahead and self-promote.
Right on. Thanks for the invite. And I want to add on to what Gary's saying. I happen to know a little bit of behind the scenes of what Night Strike does over there on GunTube. So appreciate all your effort, even though you're not getting like showered in reward and riches from it. Everybody does appreciate what you're doing, and we know it'll, you're going places with it. So thanks for doing it. Thanks for the invite.
Thank you for showing up. Obnoxious one. Go ahead and self-promote.
I would like to thank you for eventually sending me an invite.
I sent it to you originally before. I don't know what it is, but you keep deleting the emails that I send you. I don't know if I should start taking it personal or.
I didn't delete that one. That one never came through. Maybe you got caught by the spam filter, but I wouldn't think so since I still have your old one sitting in the box. But thanks for the invite eventually. But other than that, you guys can check out my channel. I am also on Gunstreamer and on guntube.org.
You're very active on GunTube.
I try to be. I try to upload everything there along with YouTube. So everybody should go check out guntube.org. I hear the guy that runs that is pretty cool. Can't hit the broadside of a barn, but I hear he's pretty cool.
He's trying.
No, with enough ammo, anything's possible.
Anything's possible.
You know what open-faced hot dog sandwich told me? He called him Night Strike the target.
Oh my God.
That was awesome.
Well, that's why I have bayonets for most of my rifles, so that I won't miss.
And everybody should go over and sign up at Gun Channels. The guy that runs that is a wealth of knowledge, and he gives back to the community. And other than that, like, share, subscribe to Night Strike because he needs all the help he can get.
I do. Thank you. Roll call. My buddy, what's going on?
Hey, thanks for having me on your show again. I really do appreciate it. My package said it was delivered to you, Night Strike, so hopefully you got it. Gary Gizzard, hopefully you got yours because it said it was delivered to you. And then I believe a couple other people got theirs. And I want to thank you guys for donating to my channel. It really helped out. And you'll see why tomorrow when I drop a video on the cool stuff that I have been able to purchase. And I'm also on guntube.org here on YouTube. I mess around on Instagram and Twitter. And I think I'm on Gunstreamer, whatever that one is. And thanks for having me. I really do appreciate it. And G-Webs, I appreciate everything that you do. And I hope to see you at the Gun Rights Policy Conference at the end of the month. Thanks for having me.
A couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Travis.
Hey, man, I got to echo everything that everybody on the panel said tonight. Do get over to gunchannels.com, get subscribed. Or get signed up over there. It's an awesome place to go. Check out the channels. A lot of these guys here on the panel got channels over on Gun Channels and YouTube. Subscribe and support them. Check out Caliber Corner Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Central Time over on gunchannels.com. And that's it, dude. I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
I appreciate you showing up.
Hey, no problem, man.
All right, Zorro. Go ahead and self-promote. Even if you don't have anything, self-promote somebody else.
Okay. I bought a GoPro, so I'm planning to make more videos, going to the range with my GoPro. So you'll see news later about videos popping up in my channel. It's Zorro117. So subscribe to Gun Channels, great place. GunTube, great place also. Good videos there. And subscribe to Travis B11, Raw Call, Night Strike, G-Webs, Gary Gizzard, Ghost Tactical, and Obnoxious. These guys are all great. Subscribe to them. Look at their videos. They have awesome content.
Thank you. Thank you. So check out Zorro when he does videos. Check out his videos. All right. Again, you guys, you know the thing. I'm just going to plug GunTube tonight. So if you haven't done so already, go to guntube.org. Check it out. Go create an account if you haven't done so already. Upload a video or two. And watch some of the other good videos that are on guntube.org. So with that, we've run full circle. We have talked about everything and come to some form of agreement, I guess. I believe. I want to believe.
I disagree.
Well, you are the dissenter. But, you know.
I also can't agree with that.
Yeah. But again, that's because Obnoxious is from Chicago. So with that.
I'm proud that you pronounced it right.
Right. You know, Chicago, Chirac, you know, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, thank you all for listening on the YouTube side. Thank you all for listening on the GunTube side, Gun Channel side, excuse me. I already have this video on GunTube, so there we go. So with that, thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss.
Give him the bird.
Hashtag him and his tooth.
Adios, Felicia.
Shut up, you infringed!
Hot fruit, yeah.
Strudel.
With the strudel.
We are still live, yeah.
Oh, we are still live.
Au revoir.
Hasta luego.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Bonjour. Aloha.
They say bootleg.
Darf nicht verletzt werden.